Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille. Today is 14th of October 2020. Welcome to video number 292. One of you requested me one more thing to talk about, and he basically asked me to talk about breaking out of the comfort zone. And I started to think about this subject, and I kind of look at it from perspective that I saw the Simon Sinek talked about in context of sportsmen or sportswomen, and this is exactly what we did for our last two videos, that you can look at things from a two perspective, positive and negative one. Simon Sinek says that many sports people decide basically just before they have to perform, they decide to say that they are excited, not that they are scared. Because if you look close enough, the emotions are the same, but what changes is what kind of meaning you give it in your own head. And you see, the same thing I try to apply to this, breaking out of your comfort zone. And I thought to myself, this is kind of a negative way of looking at it. Because it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to break out of this prison. So what is the positive way that you may look at things? To kind of look at it from a positive point of view. And I said to myself, definitely this is creativity. So I want to talk about creativity and look at it as I looked at the two previous subjects that I talked about in my previous two videos, about courage and about kindness. And if you haven't watched these videos, I would highly suggest or advise you to watch them before we're going to continue, because they'll give you like a much broader perspective of what we're talking about, because one is basically stuck on the other. That being said, there are two kind of environments or two situations that you may see yourself and apply this rule of creativity. When everything goes fine, when everything is great in your relationship, in your life, then the creativity has very specific taste, I would say. Because it's just you trying to achieve something that you never did. So it is like a breaking out of this comfort zone. And there are three basic rules that you need to apply for this to work. First of all, you need to be able to get yourself together and have enough time to think about it. Because if you're swamped with your responsibilities, if there's so much going on in your life, there'll be no time and you have no capacity to spend and think, what can I do creatively to change or to do something else that I never did before? You'll have no time and no strength to do this. Second thing, you need to know, what do you really want to achieve? Do you want to paint something? Do you want to create some piece of music? Do you want to run in a marathon? Do you want to learn to code, learn different language? What is exactly the thing that you want to do and why? What is the reason that pushes you toward thinking about doing this? Because if there's no reason, you're just not going to do it, and you have no strength to really reach for it in time. So first of all, have environment to have time and peace in this environment to look for your creativity and for inspiration. Second, know what you want to achieve and why. And three, you'll have to be patient and consistent enough to do this thing one step at a time until you gradually get there. And you'll be able to say, I planned this, I achieved this, that was awesome, I'm proud of myself. But this is you can listen to anybody who's talking about creativity. You find on YouTube or in the internet tons of information, and they're going to go much deeper in this subject. But as I did in the last two, I want to look at it. What does really creativity mean when your relationship is in complete hell? When all you see is complete darkness? Because you may say, creativity? Are you mad? I'm trying to survive here. But I want you to kind of see that there's so much more to it, especially in this kind of environment and this kind of situation that you might find yourself in right now, that you might be surprised. Because let me ask you a question. Again, if you watch those videos, you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, pause or stop this video and go and watch those too. So in first video I told you about courage. And I told you that the only way to start even rebuilding or trying to, survive this whole situation is for you to basically pull yourself together so you'll be able to lift yourself up off the floor above this whole emotional madness, so you'll be able to do something about it. Now let's think. Doesn't it sound familiar? Pulling yourself together, giving yourself emotional and mental environment to be able to do something new, something more. See, this is the same thing. If you need to, if you need and want to survive this situation, and survive as a relationship, let's say, or family, you'll need to be able to do the same thing as you would need to do if you want to do something creative. Pull yourself together and raise yourself above the floor to give yourself time and space to think what I supposed to do next. Second step in creativity was that you need to have a goal. You need to know where you want to go and why. Doesn't it sound familiar? Because we said exactly that you need to get up off the floor to say, I got this, this is my goal, and this is what I'm going to reach for. Exactly the same thing. And you're not going to be able to do that if you not have an environment to get yourself to the point that you have strength to even think about having a goal and reaching for it. And then point number 3 in creativity is basically your ability to be patient in reaching for your goal. And that's the same here. And we talked even more about, we talked about kindness, about love, because this is the only way to do something, to make a change, to kind of do something about this negative situation that we find ourselves in, to rebuild this whole thing. So patience is like obviously must have to be able to do this. But if you look close enough, if you're able to get yourself up on the floor, you've got you kind of put yourself in a position that you have enough strength to know that I got this. You've got your goal, you know where you're going, you know how to get there because you know that it's kindness and love. But then creativity kind of gets at the end of this. Because if you've got the self-esteem and self-confidence that you're able to do this, that you made a decision that no matter how long it's going to take, I'm going to do this, then creativity would give you even more, even like it will be like a step farther, because you will be able to say, okay, what else can I do to prove that I love her? What else can I do to make this whole thing a reality that we're going to be together? What else can I do to prove that I can handle this? And that's when creativity give you like another gear that you can just move into, to no matter how long it's going to take to go full on and show her that you care, show her that, or anyone that this relationship is falling apart, that you'll be able to rebuild it. You see, now the creativity, it's like open another door for you of possibilities, what you can do to save your relationship and to end this mayhem. You see, now think about it. If you'll be able to survive this, if you'll be able to kind of get out of this, how do you think those situations that maybe you completely didn't know how to deal with, like, I don't know, so many of you have these issues like, what should I buy for her birthday? How are we going to spend our anniversary? Do you really think you're going to have issues with this when you're going to survive that hell? And because you survived this because of your self-esteem, your strength, because of your kindness, because of your creativity, do you really think that anything like this would be a problem for you anymore? It won't. I'm just going to say it straight so you understand. But there's one more thing that kind of spawns out of this. When you understand that this creativity in this kind of environment, it's a completely different world. Now you want to ask yourself, why so many of us quit before we even finish the conversation? Why so many of you, before we even finished this discussion in between you two, you already moved out in your head? Why? You never even tried. But if you do, then you'll see that there's nothing that stops you. But you may say, "But we got divorced." So, have you ever heard about people who got divorced and then they got back together and they remarry? Many relationships who fall apart, and got divorced, people in 2 or 3 months, they don't remember what was the reason that they got divorced. They know that it piled for years, but you understand? It's like the emotions fade, and then everything you can start asking yourself, but why did we really split? And so some people have guts to say, no, I love this person, I loved spending time with them. That was going too far, let's get back together. You see, that's the whole point. You are able to do whatever you want. It's just a matter of your decision, seeing the goal, making the decision you're going to get there, and basically going with love, kindness, and creativity to go beyond what you thought is possible. So this is what I want you to take from this video. As with everything in life, there's a positive side and negative side. Creativity in positive side is like, so many people talked about it that I'm not going to even go there. It's a good to know how it all works. But in negative context, like in your crisis of your relationship, creativity is the end point after you're building your courage and understanding kindness and love as the only way to rebuild your relationship. And if you understand this creativity at the end, it'll open a completely different door for you able to do something that maybe you never thought being capable of, but you will, just because you made the decision, understood the process. So now, even if you're divorced, maybe you thought that all was over. It's not. Because nothing really ends, my friend. It's just your decision what you're going to do next. Will I just say, it's over? Or I'm going to try it again? So this is what I want you to think about, and this is what I want you to decide to do about it. Because nothing really ends, my friend, until you decided that it already did in your head. If you liked this video, like, share, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think. Tell me what's your experience. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, give me a shout, and I'll be glad to do it for you. And that being said, see you tomorrow.